Welcome to Happy Hour, brought to you by Best Damn Bookkeeping.
When you stay chronically shorthanded, and I know you know this, Sean, because this is preaching right up your alley with always be recruiting, always be recruiting. When you find yourself shorthanded as a business owner, we hate turning away business. We hate turning away customers, disappointing the public. We paid for all this advertising. So instead, what do? We fall into the trap of keeping C players. And when you keep C players, it's the beginning of the end of your culture. So I had to make a leadership change a couple of years ago because even though the numbers were there and they were growing my business, they were hiring like crazy, they were keeping C players and hiring bad people. And our culture began to erode within months because you might think you have a great culture. And this is why Coach Jeannie Henderson has culture magic in our program. It's a turnkey system for really developing culture. Is you can onboard the right people, but you'll run them off quickly by keeping the wrong ones because you don't have the courage to cut your C players.
Yep. That's exactly right. It's like looking at the bench, and I always say if you're not always recruiting, it's like a basketball team being on the court. You got all your starters. They look at the bench. Nobody's going to take their position. How hard are they going to work? How many more free throws are they going to practice? Are they working out after practice? No, why would they? So It keeps your A players on their toes, which you don't normally have to do anyway. But after a while, when you're busting your butt and you're taking care of customers and you're there at year after year and you're at the office 20 minutes early and you're helping the other people do things and answering questions and being a leader and taking care of things, you're going to scratch your head when 3 or 4 people keep showing up late or not showing up at all. And you start to wonder, what are we doing here?
Right. And, A players are A players, but a C player can bring an A player down. But an A player doesn't usually bring the C players up. But if you have too many C players on your team, anybody who's marginal, anybody who's on the fence, anybody who's maybe a B minus, and you could have pushed them up to a B plus or an A, those C players tend to be contagious. Their attitudes, their performance, their loyalty, it's contagious. So, if you have recruiting in place and you have a good system that makes the job worth it, it's one thing like, Sean, you can get all these people in the door for recruiting, send us amazing candidates, we hire them. But then at the end of the day, if we've created a job that sucks, we can't keep them. You have to create a job that's irresistible, that people think, I could do this as my career. Yeah. I have employees work for me for 20 years. I could do this as my career. Career cleaners.
And so much of creating a job people want is creating a job where their coworkers don't suck, right?
Yeah.
If your coworkers suck and you're constantly picking up a slack for them and your manager's not doing anything about it because they don't have the authority to fire them or they're too scared to fire them, that's the definition of a job that sucks. We've all had a job like that where we're like, I'm freaking working twice as hard and making the same amount of money. Hey, home service heroes, thank you guys so much for tuning into our home service happy hour content today. I sure hope you learned a little something, and I sure as a heck hope that it was entertaining. If you did find it fun and entertaining, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for more cool, fun, entertaining business content. And speaking of which, stay tuned. There's a little more here and a little more right here. Check it out.